Hi everyone, I am here to give you the instructions for your community partner scan, which is due on October 30th. So on iLearn, I will quickly show you where that is located. It is in the week of October 26th, your Youth Health and Wellbeing Week. You will be asked to submit or post your community partner video, okay? So there's brief instructions here. Here are the more detailed instructions, which of course you can find in the assignments folder at the top of our iLearn page. So the purpose of the community scan video is for you to become more familiar with your site and become aware of the physical and sociocultural environment that surrounds your community site. So this means you have to have decided and been completing some of your hours by the time that this assignment is due. Your focus will be on the larger community, okay, on the larger environment in which your service site is located. Why? It's because really the purpose is to identify existing health disparities and social justice issues within that particular city or within that particular community in terms of the individuals that you are serving. You will provide a brief, very brief description of your role as a service learner at your site. You will prepare roughly a 7 to 10 minute, no longer than 10-minute video presentation based on the information you collect from your scan. The presentation will be recorded and uploaded onto iLearn, very similar to how I have been making the lectures and assignment videos for you. So the requirements briefly, and again, spend more time with this, reading it on your own. First, students will conduct a scan of your chosen service learning site and the community in which the site is located. You will research their site and the site's surrounding environment to better understand the community and identify existing health disparities and social justice issues. You will also, like I said, provide a brief description of your role as a service learner. Dr. Nick will be evaluating your presentations. 3 of your classmates will view your presentation as well, so just make note of that. They will summarize your video and write 1 lesson learned. Similar to the reflection journal entries, your responses to 3 of your classmates' videos will be submitted on iLearn. Okay. Your video must include references. You don't have to spend time going over your references, but the last slide of your presentation, you want to end on providing those references and making sure that they are formatted correctly. All right, so getting to the nuts and bolts of the actual video. There are only 2 options for you to prepare your visual recording. Okay? So in your 7 to 10 minute visual recording summarizing your community scan, essentially paper, right? I mean, if you're looking at it in terms of the assignment, you have 2 options to do it via Camtasia Relay or Camtasia 2, which is CSUMB software, free to you for recording voice and screen presentations. And all this information I'll share with you in a little bit. It's posted down here. Or upload or record it on your computer and then upload the MP3 file or whatever it is that you're recording, upload that onto YouTube, and then you will of course post the link into the forum that's available to you on iLearn. Failure to use either one of these options will result in a grade of 0. You must use one of these 2 options, Camtasia or some sort of recording device that you will then upload onto YouTube and then provide that link, that YouTube link, onto the forum on iLearn. Okay. Video details, including a visual aid, so very similar to the way that Dr. Nick or even myself, the way that we do our recorded lectures. Okay, so go back and see Dr. Nick's lectures, the one that he has recorded, and that's essentially like the format you want to follow. I have included 2 examples that you are more than welcome to look at as you go about recording your presentation. Okay. Do introduce yourself, of course, at the beginning. Let your classmates as well as myself and Dr. Nick know who you are. And then you will discuss specific components of questions number 1 through 4 of your community scan, which we'll get to in a moment. You only have 7 to 10 minutes, so you do not need to address all of the bullet points of each question, but you should address each of the major 4 questions that are being asked. Remember this as you move forward. This is very important. The number 1 question you should be able to answer is really thinking about and reflecting on, why is a site like mine necessary in this community? You should be able to convey this information to the viewer. What injustices or systemic inequities do the individuals I am serving face? Okay, so what you are doing is discussing the social justice issues, perhaps health disparities, and of course major themes from the course that allow you to answer this question. Why is a site like this necessary in this particular community? Given the demographics, why is this site necessary? Okay. So, like I said, I've listed and provided you with information on how to access the software that is available to you for free from the university. That is all listed here. Notice the 3 stars here. It can take plenty of time for Camtasia to process the video and convert it to a web format. Once the video is processed via Camtasia, you will receive an email from Camtasia that includes a hyperlink. It is that hyperlink that you will post to the forum on iLearn for all of us to view. I would encourage you to give yourself at least a day, if not 2 days in advance of the 30th to do this assignment. You want to give yourself enough time to record the presentation and have it processed. Okay, this is worth 30 points. It's a great deal of your point allocation, and you don't want to lose all 30 points just because you didn't allow yourself enough time. So here are the 4 guiding points to help you create your community partner scan video. You want to discuss the service site location. So thinking about accessibility, how easy is it to reach the site if someone was on foot, if someone doesn't have a car and they have to access it by bus or by bike? What are the conditions and the quality of the site? So things to look at in terms of safety, accessibility, hours, what time are they open? So if they're only open from 8 to 5, that perhaps could be an injustice to folks who work from 9 to 5, okay? So those are the things I want you to be thinking of. Discuss what your overall perceptions are of the larger community. What were your initial thoughts? Perhaps you had some sort of bias going into that particular city or community when you first visited. Okay. Second, you want to describe the demographics of the city in which your site is located. So, again, maybe depending on your population, pick the ones that are most relevant here in terms of, the number of people, gender, sex breakdown, ethnicity, education, age, employment, income, cost of living, cost of housing. And of course, how are you going to gather this? You're going to gather this through U.S. Census data or perhaps some of the interviews that you conduct at your site. And I've provided you with resources to get you started on the 3rd page here. Okay, there's a variety of different ways for you to access the demographic information. And then upon the reflection, given the demographic characteristics, what are some of the dominating cultural practices, beliefs, norms, and attitudes? And how do those dominating practices influence perhaps folks' ideas about healthcare, physical activity participation, okay? Or perhaps, given the demographic information, again, why is your particular site needed in that particular community? What is your site providing in terms of social justice? Third, discuss your service learning site experience. Again, here's where you're going to briefly talk about what you do there as a service learner. You want to touch on maybe the mission of your site. Are any of the isms present? Okay, if not, how does the site eliminate the presence of those isms? So, something to be thinking about in terms of the presence of any isms. Can everyone access this site with ease? Do you need money to attend it? Do you have to have free time to be able to take advantage of the programming and the resources that the site provides? Thinking about isms again in terms of perhaps class, education, sex, race. What types of people work at your service site? Majority of men, majority women? Are there people of color? Are they able bodied? Okay, and then what are the implications of this? What impact could this have on those that attend the site? So perhaps if all of the staff are able bodied and they are an organization which is serving folks who are disabled, what perhaps is maybe a power dynamic or a power differential that may be present there? What are other ways that these demographics could perhaps play a role in terms of the majority of the minority of people who are employed versus the people that they serve at these sites? Another thing that you need to include in your interview or in your video is a summary of an interview of one person. It could be your site supervisor, it could perhaps be a community activist, a community resident, a client. Um, Briefly, you want to summarize how she or he views the community. What are the positive attributes of the city or the community in which he or she resides? What are some of the significant challenges that your interviewee thinks community residents provide? What disparities, social injustices, inequities, stereotypes, if any, does this person see in his or her community? Okay, that'll give us some insight as to how community residents view their city or their community. Okay, so here are two examples of model community partner scan videos that previous semester students have submitted and have been high quality presentations. You are welcome to use those as guides. However, I'm very familiar with these two presentations, and if you are a service learner at either AB Ingham or the Kids Eat Right program, do know that if I or Dr. Nick see similar material in terms of copying and pasting material from these sites or from these presentations, that you will definitely be having a conversation with me. Okay. So once you've posted this, again, this is due by October 30th. Then you essentially have some time to watch 3 of your classmates' videos. Okay, so on November 4th, you will be asked right here, similar to a reflection journal, to provide a reflection on 3 of your classmates' videos. You will view, of course, 3 of your classmates' videos, summarize each of the 3 videos, and then write one lesson learned from each video. So within this reflection, you will have a summary of each of the 3 videos and then 3 lessons learned, one from each of those videos. And then, of course, is again due on November 4th. If you have questions, concerns with this assignment, please let me know. But the sooner you get started on this assignment, the better off you are going to be. So what does that mean? That means you need to get started on your community hours, on your service hours, as soon as possible.